I was signing so many books with Helen Thomas down in Florida that I got whiplash.
You got what?
from sitting there for hours at a table, and you look up to greet people and talk to them, and then you look down to sign the books, and that movement of the head, that repetitive motion of my neck, my head going up and down like that. I actually got whiplash. I mean, my neck hurt so bad at one point. We were down in Orlando. I was staying with my parents for it, and my mom gave me one of those little Reese's cup things. It was kind of soft, I thought, and I bit into it, and I just screamed in agony. My neck hurt so bad it hurt to eat.
How many hours did you sign?
Oh, hours. We were down there for 3 days. We had about 6 events in Orlando and Daytona. We even signed books at the airport. This is our new thing now. It's like, why waste time at the airport? We go to the airport bookstores and sign. I mean, the thing is, the woman just doesn't stop. I mean, she's taught me. After it happened, she taught me a good trick of the trade is to bend from your waist, and just lean back to greet people and talk to them, and then lean forward, and not bend from your neck. So I learned that little trick from her. She's been at this longer than I have.
I signed books one time in one sitting for 11 and a half hours.
Oh, that's incredible. Huh. Yeah, I think about 4. Well, we go to the American History Museum one Saturday a month. We just go to the Smithsonian, and we go over there to their bookstore, and I think we've done as long as 5 hours there. It's amazing, though, because, we don't have to promote or anything. We just show up, and the tourists go nuts for Helen, and I get some eye fans. I maybe get 10% of the crowd, but...
We'll take that.
Yeah.
We're talking about
As a matter of fact, when I was down in Orlando, it was so funny. One of the people came up with a book, and I looked down, and my mom had signed it because these Imus fans were there, and they were and they saw Mom and Dad, and so they had them signing books.
Well, your mom was she was throwing a roadblock up in front of that new Walmart, wasn't she?
Yeah, she lost that battle. She fought the good fight. It's funny, a lot of people remembered that, too, that the other day they were talking to her about it.
Wow.
But, you just can't beat Walmart. In fact, I've been trying to get her, she needs a new pair of glasses, and she broke the stem on it. And I noticed Walmart has them for like $28, and I was trying to talk her the other day into going over there for her glasses, but she won't set foot in the place.
Oh, no, I don't blame her. She can't ever do that. Just get a dog first. Before she go to 19 to the hour, talking with Craig Crawford, the Healthcare Summit. What did you think?
Well, I mean, it was so much show. These politicians cannot give up their talking points. They show up at these things, and you knew it was going to happen, but they just talked past each other and made their. They were all talking to the audience, to the cameras. So that's the problem with putting cameras on these supposed, deal-making sessions. They're not going to get anything done that way. They're going to have. If that was real, they'd do it in private. I hate to say that because as a journalist, I like to see things in public, but that stuff's not going to get done in public like that.
President got a little snippy with a couple of folks, didn't he?
Yeah, I found it interesting to see. You saw all of Obama's personalities. Politically, he has kind of a split personality in a way. I think his nature is he's a progressive or a liberal on domestic stuff. You can tell that's his instinct. But then he's got this pragmatic side where he plays to the independents. The weird thing politically he's gotten to is he's managed to drive away both his liberal base and the independents. I always knew he couldn't keep them both. In the campaign, he was better at doing that. But I knew once he's governing, he wouldn't be able to keep both the liberals and independents on his side. But I didn't think he'd lose both. I thought he'd manage to keep one of them.
And now there's some talk about whether they can actually, particularly in the House, Marshall at least votes for this health care thing.
Well, I think they're going to get. I mean, what they've gotten down to is not as far-reaching as it was when there was a public option in it and so on. They'll get something passed that they'll call health reform. But again, I think the liberal base won't like it. The independents won't like it. And Pelosi said the weirdest thing on one of the Sunday news shows. She said, well, sometimes we have to do things that are unpopular that are good for the public. I thought maybe that's true, but I don't think she ought to be saying it that way.
We're talking with my friend Craig Crawford here in the Imus Morning Program. It's coming up on 16 minutes till the hour. President's still smoking, according to his physical on.
Who?
The president.
Oh, well, we always knew that.
Well, I didn't.
Back early on, I think was it before he took off? I think when he was president-elect, he did that interview with Tom Brokaw, and Tom Brokaw just very bluntly asked him if he'd quit smoking, and he said yes, and then Brokaw followed up and said, so you haven't had a cigarette? And he says, well, I fall off the wagon now and then, and then Brokaw says, well, then you haven't quit.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty clear. The funny thing about that is, the White House is a no-smoking zone, and do you know who made it that way? Who did that?
No.
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, she did. Because of the cigars, right?
Yeah, when she was First Lady, she's the one that instituted that policy, which still stands. So that's Hillary's revenge.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why when Bill was with Monica, he didn't light it. Could have been one of the reasons, huh? I'm not sure, so I don't know. Well, do you know what your cholesterol is?
I heard you ask it earlier, and I've actually told you once before because I'd been to the doctor, and it wasn't outrageous, but it was high enough that he wanted me to start using fake butter,
right?
Which I did for a while, and then I kind of got off that. But yeah, I can't remember. All I do remember when I did my urine sample, I hadn't been to a doctor in a long time, and and when I came, they gave me the little cup, but they didn't tell me what to do with it, And so I walked out into the waiting room up to the counter, where they take your money and stuff, and I just set it on the counter. And she looks at me all freaked out. She says, "That stays in the bathroom." I said, "Oh, I didn't know."
Hey, we're talking with Craig Crawford. What's going to happen with Charlie Rangel?
I think it's time for Charlie to go, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't sound like Nancy Pelosi's that upset about it.
Well, in the Masonic tongues of speaker talk, which I wrote about this on my blog today, as a matter of fact, is she said that it's not good. I was wondering what that means. It's not good, but of course, in speaker talk, that's probably ominous language for him. And she also said there's more to come. So I think she's starting to distance herself, but in ways that the general public might not be able to see. It's sort of like a dog whistle or something.
So he stays in Congress. He just loses the chairmanship, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think his district will keep. I don't think he'll resign, but I don't see how he can keep this. I mean, that's too big a chairmanship. I mean, if it was Indian Affairs or something, he could. But I mean, that's just too big a deal. Chairmanship.
Well, I hope your neck gets okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing the over-the-counter stuff. I back when I broke my ankle a couple of years ago, they gave me that hard stuff, the prescription, and I came to the conclusion all that does is it doesn't make the pain go away. It just makes you so loopy you don't care about the pain.
Yeah, but you need to get it. If you don't use it, send it to me, and I'll dispose of it in a responsible manner.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff got me so happy I was calling up the phone company to tell them what a good job they're doing.